All right, here's our next one. The question clearly reads, again, ignore everything else. Straight for the question sentence, we see that it says, hey, what is the area? What is the area of this shape? What is its area? Sounds good. Boom. Now, as always, area is a hyper-specific geometry word. So what we're going to do is look for the shape that we're dealing with, and it says a circle. So because of that, we are going to move forward and say that we're looking for the area of a circle, which is pi multiplied by the radius squared. One more time, everybody. What does the R stand for? One more time. Yes, the R stands for radius. So what we are going to plug in is the radius. Everybody, is that what we're given, or do we have to do a little bit more work to find the radius in this problem? Yeah, we're given that. It's right there. Radius of 8 meters. So this one is on the much, much, much easier side because, yeah, we're given the radius clearly as 8. So we can just plug in that 8 immediately and we're good. A equals pi times 8 squared. 8 squared, remember that's the same as 8 times 8, and that's 64. So because of that, we can replace 8 squared with 64. So we have pi times 64, or 64 pi. And there we are. Final answer is going to be 64 pi, answer choice C. So with that said, everybody, the formulas, they're very clear. It says, and let's go ahead and go through it one more time, especially for those of us that were feeling a little overwhelmed. The formula says pi times r squared. R stands for radius. And what you want to ask yourself is, am I given the radius or am I given something else? Everybody, because it was clearly stated that the radius is 8, booyah, we're good. Now, let's go ahead and remind ourselves that there's a difference between the circumference and the area formulas. For circumference, just remember, let me just go ahead and write it here. Your circumference formulas are these: 2 pi r or pi times d. For the area, we have area equals pi r squared. So feel free to have those written down for yourself so that way we can keep practicing the right way. Remember the formulas, knowing the formulas makes a huge difference, but memorizing the formulas isn't the only thing. It's not the only thing you should do. It's understanding the pieces of the formulas so you know what to plug in. So with that, let's go ahead and keep it going here. Let's move on to the next one and keep having ourselves a good time. All right, here's another one where, as always, the first thing we want to do, everybody, we got to read that question first. I don't care how nervous or confident you are. The right way to go about it is just to stay calm, cool, and collected and read that question sentence first. So here, how many samples are produced? Okay, so key word here is how many samples. How many samples are produced? So here it says, a clinic here has 420 test kits. During a health drive, 65% of these kits are used, and each kit that was used produces 3 samples. Okay, so that's the biggest piece of information here. Let's write that down, where we really want to note that each kit produces 3 samples. So each kit equals 3 samples. So my party people, given the use of the word each, so each kit is 3 samples, what are we going to do? What operation are we going to do once we determine how many of these test kits were used? Because it can be multiplication or division. So which one is it going to be? Yeah, it's going to be multiplication. And here's the reason why. When you think about the word each, when you're trying to find the grand total, you're multiplying. When you have the word each and you're trying to get down to, let's say, if it says each kit is 3 samples and you're trying to get down to the number of kits, well, you'll be dividing that total by 3 to get the number of kits. But in this case, we want the total number of samples. So because we have the number of kits, or we're going to get the number of kits, and we know each kit is 3 samples, we multiply by 3 to get that total number of samples. So let's go ahead and get after it here. We're going to first begin by understanding that 420 kits were used, or available, and 65% of those were used. So let's first find out how many actual kits that is. 65% multiplied by 420. When we do that, that'll be 0.65 multiplied by 420. So once we do that here on the side, we're going to multiply and we're going to ignore the decimal and bring it back at the end. So we have 0 times 5, then 2 times 5 is 10 and carry the 1. 4 times 5 is 20, carry the 1 is 21. Next up, we'll place that 0 right there and we'll continue. So we'll have 0 times 6, and that'll be 0. Then from there, we'll have 2 times 6, which will be 12, carry the 1. 4 times 6 is 24, carry the 1 is 25. So there we are. Add all of that back together, and we're going to get 0, 0, 3, 7, and 2. We'll bring back 2 decimal places, everybody, because we have 1 and 2 right there. So there we are. We have 1 and 2. So that'll end up being 273. But the answer is not going to be A, only because, remember everybody, this is the number of kits, not the number of samples. To get the number of actual samples, remember that each kit is 3 samples. So we need to multiply this over here by 3. Because again, each of these kits provided 3 samples. So here we have 273 times 3, so that'll be 9. 7 times 3 is 21. And then 2 times 3 is 6. Carry 2 is 8. So therefore, everybody, the final answer, the true correct answer here is 819 samples were produced. And there we go. All done. All right, so let's check this problem out. It's a pretty straightforward one, right? It says, hey, find the mean of 6, 8, and 10. Okay, sounds good. So my party people, when we think about finding the mean, we are also thinking about calculating the average. And so to calculate that, here's what we want to do. The easy way to put it is to calculate the mean. We just want to add up all the numbers. So you want to get the total. So add all the numbers up that you have. And then you want to divide by the number of numbers. That's it. That's all you want to do to calculate the mean. So again, we're going to calculate the total. So we're going to add them all up. And then we're going to divide by the amount, or the number of numbers. That's a very easy way for me to write it, because if I say amount, you might confuse it with total amount. So I don't want to confuse anybody. We're just going to say number of numbers. And in this case, everybody, how many numbers are we observing? Between 6, 8, and 10, that is going to be a total of 3 numbers. So right there, that's where our 3 goes. And then we're just going to calculate the total right up here. So to do that, we'll have 6 plus 8 plus 10. 6 plus 8 is going to give us 14. And then 14 plus 10, that's going to give us 24. And there we are. So once we have that in there, boom, that's going to be 24 divided by 3. And my party people, what is 24 divided by 3 going to give us? Yeah, that's going to be 8. And that is our mean for this problem. That's going to be answer choice C. And we're all good to move forward. The mean, or the average, would be 8.